stream for you now, Bill.
Okay.
Bill says he doesn't like you. Why do you say that for, Bill?
Hi there, YouTube. I'm Craig here again with Bill and Antonio, and we are the Social Vultures. Please, Bill, take it from the top.
All right, so Jason from Australia asks, is that our first Australian one?
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
Australian is awesome. Jason asks, do we think superhero movies are just cash grabs?
I think he also mentioned on Facebook, he was talking specifically about Civil War. Civil War was a bit of a, or all these hero versus hero films were a bit of a cash grab, if I recall.
Right.
And personally, I'm sort of two minds, because I believe, well, of course they're cash grabs, because this is what studios do, this is what production companies do, and this is what distributors do, right?
Movies are a business.
Movies are a business. But I think you made a pretty good point about like the writers and the producers and the guys who actually do the craft.
That's just it. Yes, it's a business. Yes, everybody wants to make money off of it. But I think the definition of cash grab for me is that somebody's doing something solely for that reason.
Okay.
That's what a cash grab is. So if that's the definition, then no, I don't think so. I don't think anybody that, maybe with the exception of a few, I think most people who make movies are not just in it for the cash. Especially when you look at people like, actually, if you look at any of the really big filmmakers and movie stars, none of them have to make any more movies.
Yeah, gosh, that's true.
They've got enough money to last them forever. You look at guys like Woody Allen. Why the hell is Woody Allen still making movies in his 70s when he's got more money in the bank, right?
Yeah,
never used.
He does it because he loves it. He doesn't care if it makes money, especially now where he's like signed specifically with Sony Classics, and it's like he makes the movie and moves on.
Yeah.
He doesn't care what people thought of it. He doesn't care anything. He's just like, I did it for the experience of making the movie, working with people I like, move on. So, yeah, but back to superhero movies, no, I don't think so. I think you're employing thousands of people who are good at their job. People in lighting, people in costume, people, the actors. You look at people like Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., these guys obviously don't continue to do these roles just because they're like, oh, I could really use that check.
Yeah.
Like, they're not. They're
Especially
doing
Robert Downey Jr. You already have money before you hire him.
Yeah, and these guys are doing it because they're passionate about the characters, they're passionate about their own fan bases, and want to do things that their fans like. Any of these guys could go and do a drama that's much more actor.
Well, and I was just going to say, I mean, with regards to superhero films, and you think about the MCU, and, you know, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, these guys don't necessarily have to go, or they may be contracted to go to, like, the Comic-Cons and all these conventions and all these...
Or children's hospitals, they do.
Yeah, exactly, you know. But, I mean, again, like, when you see Robert Downey Jr. go and address the crowd at, like, you know, New York or San Diego Comic-Con, he is playing the role of
or Chris Evans showing up for the screen of Civil War.
Yeah, I mean, like these guys are obviously into the movies that they're producing.
Yeah, and I think that
and they're proud of them.
And they're proud, yeah.
And it's a continuity. It's not like they're making one-offs. They can say, yeah, maybe you're right. It's a bit of a cash grab, but this is a continuing universe that they're coming out films to continue telling a story. Like, okay, let's make Captain America. They were done with it. Let's
like there may
the next flavor
there
of the
may
week.
be a couple of producers that are in it for that.
Sure.
But I think in general, the people who make these movies, I know a couple of people who make movies and are indifferent in makeup or whatever, and these people do it because they love what they do. And they love making movies.
Well, and you know what? That's why agents exist in this world, for both talent but also for sports. Because guys do just want to play baseball. Some people do just want to make movies. And if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, if they didn't have an agent, they could probably get fleeced, because that's really all they're interested in. And, you know, it's a good thing that they have an agent to negotiate on their behalf.
Yeah.
And of course, you want these movies to make money, so they keep making more of them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there who are very, you know, superhero movies are huge right now. So, of course, there's some people, I'm not saying you, but there's some people who are like, oh, it's really popular right now, so I'm against it.
Yeah.
You know?
And
I don't like that. It's like things come in there's so many critics who just immediately write off superhero movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, why does everything have to be this or that? Why can't everything exist together? Superhero movies are spectacle entertainment.
Yes.
It's almost 10
That's
years
what they're
now
for.
since the first Iron Man movie, so you can't say
but
that.
that's what they're for. That's
Yeah.
what their purpose is. They're not meant to be Hamlet. They're not meant to be Sophie's Choice. They're meant to be superhero movies.
Yeah.
They're escapism.
Yeah.
You go to see these guys you like playing these characters you like
Yeah.
with spectacular effects, with, in the case of Civil War, fantastic humor. I couldn't believe how much I laughed in that movie. And it's like, I think there's too much of people comparing this to that instead of just letting everything exist.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like some people will go and see Civil War and say, well, it was no Winter Soldier, well, it was no Avengers, well, it was no whatever else other movies they love. It doesn't have to be those. It's its own thing. Did you go and have fun? That's all that matters.
Love it. I love it.
So I don't think they are cash grabs. Just like I don't think when zombie movies were big, I don't think they're cash grabs.
Yeah.
Yes, people are going to ride waves of popularity.
Yeah, you want to
because-
make what people want to watch.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be looked down upon either because it's smart.
It is good business sense, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think about, I don't know if it's asylum necessarily, but I mean, yeah, you know, a movie like Battleship comes out, and then a couple months later, American Warships, which is the obvious ripoff, comes out.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think you could make an argument that, yes, that is a cash grab because you are totally
for
riding.
sure.
You're totally riding on the coattails of a previous production.
Absolutely. Plays Asylum and Sci-Fi and the ones that
Yeah.
do those. I agree. Those movies, the purpose of those movies being made was a cash grab.
Yeah.
But for the people who worked on the movie,
Yep.
not necessarily,
Not necessarily.
a cash grab.
Just
They're
doing their
coming to
craft.
work and they're still
Yep.
doing what
Yep.
they're good at. So yeah, I think there are cases of that happening. But specifically to your movie, do you think superhero movies are cash grabs? I don't think so. And I don't even, stuff like Dawn of Justice, I don't think that that's a cash grab by saying, let's take two huge superheroes and put them in. I think it's something that's been happening in comics for decades and decades.
When Matt joked, I said to myself, all right, this has to make money to have a DC universe. If it flops,
Yeah.
then they're not going to bother making any more movies. So
There's
that's what you want to do well.
It's always going to have the element of business.
Yes, exactly.
Because
Yes,
it's a
yeah.
business. They're not doing it for an art gallery. They're
Yeah.
doing it for an audience. But yeah, I don't think they're cash grabs. I think they're just news stories. That's all. Same with Civil War and
Yeah.
where it's leading, especially in terms of the MCU, where they have a flight plan. You know,
Yeah.
they know where they're going and they know where the
Yeah.
story's going.
And they already told everyone.
So yeah, it's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
It's a chapter in the story.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I don't think that makes
and they're
it
all
cash
ordered.
grab.
They got it on Netflix, they got the MCU, they got the TV
Right.
MCU. So
Yeah.
it isn't a matter. It's something. It's a continued. Again,
Yeah.
if you're just coming out the flavor of the week,
Yeah.
all right. Oh, we're gonna make a Black Panther girl. One off, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something that's keep on going. So like, I agree. I don't think they're cash grab. I think it's a matter of, you know.
Yeah.
But again, it could be a cash grab, but for different people or different entities
That's right.
within, you know,
I
the
don't,
organization.
it's not as simple as just is it or isn't it.
Yeah.
Well, of course, they're gonna merchandise the heck out of it.
Yeah.
To make more money off it. So they're
See, that's another thing. People are always against that too with like Star Wars. They're always like, oh, Star Wars is just movies made to sell toys. That's a product of it, and it's part of it, but it's not the reason.
quick side note before we go on too much longer. If people forget quickly, Lucas developed the merchandising. He, in 1970,
he
said
did,
he
yeah.
realized that this way to get popular, I gotta start merchandising, going to these toy companies. So they can all thank George Lucas for all this merchandise for toys and that, because he was a visionary that's still
Yeah.
to this day.
Yeah.
So saying that, folks, Jason, hope we answered your question, buddy. Keep those questions coming, and everyone keep your questions coming. For Tony Stark, the Winter Soldier, and Captain America, we're the Social Vultures. We'll see you next time.
We're gonna switch those. I get to be Captain America. He's Tony Stark. Sorry, a little low season.